Hey, good morning. This is going to be a demo for two sabers, but this is for a private collector. So because he doesn't want to be mentioned by name, I'm just going to get right into the functionality of these two sabers. So we've got two customs here. This one is painted or powder coated and etched. Not sure if that's paint. I think this is paint, but it's got a beautiful etch on it. It's a custom. So one of one. It's to 2-button setup, and then we've got a Corran horn custom as well. So, and it's a 2-button setup as well. But we're gonna go over this etched one first. It has a lit amber activation switch right here, and then the auxiliary is right here. It does have CCSabers LED pixels, and then it's got a removable chassis. So what we want to do to get to the chassis is we just want to unscrew this guy right here. And it's just finger tight, and then once you unscrew that, this guy comes out. Now to get this chassis out, it does stick in there a little bit. It sticks in there the width of this, or the length of this little sleeve here, right? So you just want to take it in your hand. Make sure you cup your hand so that the chassis doesn't go flying, but you can pop it a few times and it will come right out. It's just a little tight, just like that. Have to make these guys a little bit tight when we do these wireless removables, because I don't want it to wiggle around and these pins get off kilter and hit the wrong pad, right? Especially with this guy. So these are the two sabers have two different types of removable chassis. This one's going to use the stock PCBs that we'll go over. And then this one, this Corran horn, has a smuggler's outpost. We chose to go with the stocks on this one because I needed to make sure that this amber LED, or the amber LED was programmable. So it is. So that's what we did, right? I wired it to pad 8. I know that that's something that you're going to want to know. So you can see that there, that I wired it over here to pad 8. I did put my own little brass rod in here. I have a brass rod stock. It was a little thick, so I put it on my drill press and sanded it down until it got to the width that I wanted. I did sharpen the end, but then I dulled it out, right? So it's not a sharp thing. It's not going to be scratching your contacts in there, which you can see in there, right? And let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Easy access to your SD card, so you can pop it in and out from here. You never have to lift the board up unless you want to use rice. So the board's not glued down. It's just a nice press fit, and then it's got this art tape over it. This does have a 24mm smuggler's outpost bass speaker, and then a removable battery, of course, with your spring side being your negative. So let's throw a battery in. So I only put 2 sound fonts on this guy because I know you're going to put your own sound fonts on it. We're going to use this one to test it, and then there's a little surprise one in there for you. You can play with that at home. With the stocks, it only goes in one way. So I don't have a whole lot of light in my garage. I'm trying to find the hole. There it is. So there's a hole in that PCB that you know, but others might not that are watching this video. And that hole is where this brass pin goes into, and it has to go in that way. So that's why I made that brass pin stick out further than your pins for everything else, so that you could find that alignment before these pins touch any of the traces in here, right, or the pads. So I've had pretty good luck with just looking at this guy, finding where it needs to go. If I can see it in the light. There's not very much light in my garage, so there it is. And I line it up as best as I can, throw it in there, and then just kind of use my 2 fingers to get it in. And then I've had pretty good luck doing that, so I just did it right there. This one's a little tricky, right? Because normally on a removable chassis, we'd have it flush with right here. It'd be a little bit easier to kind of twist it to find the sweet spot, but because we have this piece right here going in, I had to make that chassis that length so that this is actually the thing that's pushing up against it. It stops about right here, and then when you start pushing it like that, that's when the springs are engaging, right? So I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, That's why we had to put the chassis that far in. So it's just a little bit tricky moving it with your fingers, but I've practiced with it a lot before I made this video, and didn't take me long, right? So now that we've got everything locked in, probably wake the board up. Oh, it's woke up already, so we'll turn it off. Activation. We just got that on flashing right now, which is pretty much the stock setting. You get that different animation when you hit your auxiliary switch down here for blade lockup. Pixels are lighting up really well. Good sound. We'll turn it off. I've got a full-length blade, so we'll test it with a full-length blade. This is your blade retention. I've got it backed out already, so we'll just put a 1-inch diameter blade in here and then lock her down. You can see everything's lighting up really well. Hold it down for blade lock up, your auxiliary. I do have everything set to 1. You're probably going to change your spectrum modes and everything on this guy, but just for the sake of going through the colors so that you can see it's doing what it's supposed to do. Everything's working really well there. Stop on that blue. So, as you can see, this saber is working really well. Well, let me show you that. Flash on flash, right? Now I'll turn it off. Not going to go too much into CFX functionality because one of you actually taught me a lot about CFX, so it was a pleasure to be able to do these for you because you know, I learned from you. So you know, thank you for trusting me with your sabers. So to get everything out, we're gonna unscrew this guy. This will pop back out. Now, when this chassis has a battery in it, it's a little heavier, so it's a little bit easier to come out. You hit it one time, and that thing just wants to slide right out, just like that. Now we're gonna take this battery out. Positive side first, pops right out. I'm going to attempt to put this in one more time on camera. There's the hole right there. Kind of give it a twist with your fingers, just like that. Didn't quite line up. It's okay. There it is right there. See, it doesn't take long. As long as you get it close when you're first putting it in, you don't have to tweak it that much when you get it in there. So we're gonna set this off to the side, and then we'll go over your Corran horn. So your Corran horn also is a 2-button setup. Your 2 switches right here. I ended up replacing these switches. I just had some that were the same. The ones that were in here were fine. They just had a little bit of the electrical or the liquid electrical tape on them. And then when I had to take that off, they were just kind of gnarly. So I just put 2 new switches in here. This one, when you're looking at it and the switches are on the top, the switch on your left-hand side is going to be your activation. And then obviously the one on your right will be your auxiliary. So to get to this guy, again, we'll just unscrew this one. This unscrews and the chassis falls right out on this guy, right? So this is the Smuggler's Outpost 14-pin PCB setup. So while you can't run really a LED switch and have it programmable, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So I guess the trade-off here is you don't have to line this up when you're putting it in. So I can put this guy in any way like this. It doesn't matter. Just throw it in and screw this on, it's gonna work. So that's the trade-off there. Let's put a battery in it, right? So same setup as your other chassis, easy access to your SD card. You can see it right there. You don't have to take the board up for that, but you will have to pop the board up to use the micro USB for rice. And you know, once again, this is just a tight press fit down into the shelf. I probably didn't even need to use this art tape on either one of these chassis, but I did put, you know, this divot in the chassis just in case you ever needed the tape in the future. If you keep popping these boards back in and out over time, the press fit might wear out a little bit. So I make that groove in there so the tape doesn't get in the way. So let's throw a battery in this guy too. Spring size, you're negative and on the same side, pretty consistent. This battery chamber is tight. So when you're putting the battery in, you're gonna get to about right there with that battery, and you're gonna have to come in here, snap it in place, okay? And then you're gonna probably need a tool to just pop it out right here. It pops out easily with a tool, but you're just probably not gonna be able to do it with your fingertips. And we'll throw this in and screw this back on. Just like that. Tighten it up till it doesn't go anymore. Activation. This one has a Corran horns, sound font, LEDs lighten up really well. Auxiliary. This also takes a 1-inch. This also takes a 1-inch diameter blade. So here is your blade retention. I have it backed out already. So we'll throw a blade in this guy too. Oops. Too soon. So, activation. Auxiliary for blockers. Blade lock up. Flash on flash.
Spectrum.
Color change. I'll stop on this one. I put about 22 blade effects on both of these, even though you probably have your own, and I forgot to show you that on the last one, but these are both identical.
Spectrum.
So I'll show you that too.
Blade profiles.
Some of them you're not going to be able to see too good, other ones you can, right? So as you're cycling through some of these blade effects, the ones that stay solid and it's clicking through them and it doesn't seem like it's any different, they have different pre-ons and pre-offs. And this one's just like this one's a slow retraction, right? Just like that. So now you can see both of these sabers are working. I have one more that I need to do for you that is all wired up, minus one stock MPXL. I do not want to put a CCSabers in there because it's a staff configuration, and I already have one side installed with stocks, so I'm not going to make it not match. Other than that, you know, these two sabers are done, working well. If you got any questions, please let me know. Other than that, you know, I'll probably have all three of these sabers out to you by Wednesday. All right, thanks.